Good morning, everyone. I hope you are enjoying every minute of this incredible weather. We're always talking about the weather, and usually it's bad, and it has been so beautiful. It's time to absolutely enjoy it, and I've been doing that, pool, everything. Also, totally hair wet and everything today because Luna and I went for a run this morning, and then I lost track of time and ran out of time. So I hope you're having a fantastic morning. I am Jenny Hensley, co-owner and effectiveness coach with Dynamics. Our goal is to help you reclaim your time so you can reclaim your life and love your work. We've been working on our summer of self-care, so I have a couple updates there, and then we're going to get into how to rock your opening meetings. So hashtag summer of self-care, hashtag reclaim your life. I have been probably driving you crazy talking way too much about my goal for the summer, my new habit that I've been working on, which is getting a ton of water every single day. And I did a whole post on it, and I've talked about it a couple times, but I came up with another one yesterday, which was I took a watermelon and just took all of the pulp and the watermelon, put it in a blender, and so you get watermelon juice. And then I put just a touch of the watermelon juice and a couple cucumbers into my water, and it similar to my infused water, but yesterday the watermelon just really hit the spot. So just drank water all day and stayed hydrated, and then slept amazing because of that. So I hope you are doing the summer of self-care. Our goal was to help you create new habits for yourselves. Please share those and let us know what they are. We would love to hear that. We will do a follow-up here in a few weeks on that. But we're starting to get into the school year now and gearing up, working with tons of you on your opening meetings, convocation. Last week I talked about branding your year, and if you haven't seen that one and you're working on an opening meeting, whether you're a leader of a team at a grade level or a department, whether you're the leader of a building, whether you're the leader of a district, coming up with a brand, and I shared examples from Worthington that Trent Bowers was kind enough to share with us, the superintendent there, shared all of that last week. So I would say if you are planning and you haven't seen that, do that, look at that first, because that can not just help your opening meetings, it can help your entire year. So let's say you've branded your year or you haven't branded your year. You're starting to talk about or getting ready for your opening meetings. Want to talk about some common mistakes and then suggestions for you that you can implement right away. So first of all, let's talk about the mistakes. Give me a thumbs up if you've experienced any of these. And I'm going to make this a little smaller. The meetings are just too long. We happen to have oftentimes a day or two with staff at the beginning of the year, and so we try to cram everything into that day, and the meetings last all day long. It just doesn't work. It can work if you work professional development into it, and I'm going to talk about that, but sitting and talking at people all day long does not work. Shared with you a tons of time all the research about adult learners, and adult learners can only attend for 5 to 7 minutes. That means, depending on the individuals in your team, they can only sit and listen for 5 minutes or so. So then they start to wander and their mind starts to wander. And everybody's not the same, so everybody's wandering all over the place. And you may be talking at them and you can check it off your list, but chances are, if you do that, you're going to have to revisit it over and over and over again. So do not talk at the team and do not make it too long. So we're going to talk about how to handle that here in a second. I also talked about attention span. Really, all of those come back to don't make it too long and be interactive. So those are the mistakes people make. If you do the traditional style of meeting where you have an agenda with 20 items on it and you're just going through it item by item, talking, even if you have a PowerPoint, you may get this. Bueller. Anyone? Questions? I see this all the time. And if there's no interaction, it probably means people aren't listening. So a quick process if you're getting the Bueller in that moment is to stop and say, okay, let's everybody take a minute. Think about all the things we've heard so far. Turn to a neighbor and talk about your most important point. And then share, okay, while you guys were talking about your most important point, did any questions come up? Or share out the most important point. Even that little bit of interaction will help you get more and at least give you some sort of assessment, some sort of idea about how how they're taking the information. Are they getting it? So that's my Bueller moment for you. Other than that, I have several tips. In fact, there's an article I'll share in the team notes that you can access that gives you very detailed information on how to plan a great meeting. And that's free for you. You just sign up for our mailing list. We send an email out with tips and videos I think we go every week. So I've said it. I'm going to say it 100 times. Keep it short. If you walk in and you have 20 agenda items, people are defeated before they even begin because they know you're not going to get through them and they know it's just going to be this meeting that goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. So keep it short. Honor the transition from summer. So we suggest that you start every meeting with a centering, and we have a specific video on that. But the idea is that you come into the meeting and you have some sort of process. We always say that process should focus on the meeting content to come. It helps people let go of whatever they were doing before they came in and get focused on what's coming. We usually say it should not be fluffy. It shouldn't be what is typically known as an icebreaker. But for this instance, because people are coming from summer break, honors the fact that they're coming from summer break and come up with a centering activity that that will do that. Something that you can do is what I did this summer, which sounds very simple, but everybody writes down their top memory of the summer and you have them go sit with a partner or do a process that we've shared and have a video on called Around the World and Back Again, where they get to talk to many people. And then you ask people to share out for the whole group something that just has to be shared, because sometimes something super exciting happened, like maybe somebody got engaged or married or went on a trip around the world or who knows what. So honor that transition from summer, because chances are people aren't super psyched about being back, especially at an opening meeting. So starting it off sets in something fun and honoring the fact that they did have a summer and helping them remember that is a way to start off the tone really light. So those two kind of go together, honoring the transition and set the tone. I think the other thing that you can do with setting the tone is, if you've ever been to a meeting with us, you know that we have music playing. We have the room organized in a certain way, so it's in groups of tables with colorful bins. With all the supplies in the middle. We often have charts around the room. We have something sometimes engaging on the screen as they're walking in, so that when people walk in the room, they're like, oh, this is not a normal meeting. This is not going to be a meeting where, frankly, people haven't planned and it's just going to be kind of read through a list. So setting that tone, everything matters, and giving them that, having like a nice breakfast or some snacks or some food or candy on the table. Every single thing matters. It works towards people's mood. So, and it sets the tone for your whole meeting. The other thing I would say would be also about set the tone, not just set the tone for the meeting, but set the tone for the year. If you have a goal for yourself to have really effective meetings this year, and short and to the point, and meetings that make an impact, then set that tone and model it at the first meeting, and then you can follow that tone through for the rest of the year. Also, you can use your brand. If you listened to the video last week and have a brand set, you can do that too. So this next one sounds a little, I don't know, weird, but keep them moving. People can only sit for so long. And if the energy level is low, chances are they need to get up and move around. And you should have regularly scheduled breaks. People cannot sit for more than 2 hours at a time. So you may have a break scheduled. If you don't have a break, then have a time for them to an activity, a process where you have them up and moving. And that really is the flow of the meeting. So we talk about having 3 to 5 agenda items, and for each agenda item, you should have a process. A process is just like I shared the think, pair, share earlier, how you're going to get feedback from them, how they're going to use the information. And so those processes should have kind of a flow to them. You know, when they first are sitting down, you don't need to get them up and moving all over the room. You may have them talk at their table or talk to a neighbor. If they've been sitting for a while, you do want them to get up and go and talk to somebody who's not at their table, or have around the room and back again, the other activity I talked about where you talk to many people around the room. So you want to get that flow of the meeting, and just read your audience. You can tell if people are yawning, if they're slumping back in their chair, and a lot of people have trouble sitting for a long time, so you'll start noticing people getting up and standing just because they can't sit that long. Take that cue and switch it up. Another thing, I would say the biggest pushback that we get about meetings and about our style of meetings and having such short agendas is we have all of this work, the real work we need to get through. How are we going to get through the real work? And I think that you could do that in a bunch of different ways. If it's just announcements, we've talked about doing a handout, we've talked about doing an email, and I have an idea that I'm going to go into detail about next week that could be a process that you use all year long, where you have a shared document, possibly a Google document, and we use multimedia, maybe little video clips, so that we can get through that information. Because the truth is, if you have those 20 items that you need to get through, and you're just talking at people with those 20 items, then they're not getting them anyway. And the bottom line is we need to come up with an information communication loop where it doesn't all come back to you. So you're not standing up giving information at a meeting, and then 5 minutes after the meeting, somebody's coming up and asking you about it, and you're thinking, we just did this at the meeting. And then more people come and more people come. And so you shouldn't have even had the meeting at all, because you're having to basically share it individually with everyone. So those are our tips for for having a fantastic opening meeting. Avoid those pitfalls and really think about the agenda. I talked about having, if you have an all-day meeting. I know some of you have to have an all-day meeting, but I would work into that blocks of time where they're doing different things. So blocks of time where you have professional development, blocks of time where they're working with their team and bringing something back to the group, so that it's an interactive, meaningful day and it gets your year off on the right foot. So next week, we're going to talk about this idea of how to get the real work done, all of the management work, and a possible way to do that. And I hope that you keep up your summer of self-care habits and keep letting us know about that. Always, please like and share. If you are watching us on Facebook and you click the notifications, you'll know when we're going live. I'm live every Sunday at 10 a.m. For the pep talk, but also we do little live videos when we're out and about. We had to have a squirrel sighting or it wouldn't be a perfect morning. So again, like and share, and also, of course, share with people who plan your meetings, because hopefully this can help them. And if I always tell you at the very end, if you're lucky enough to have this absolutely gorgeous summer day off, please enjoy it. Have a great day, everyone.